Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, Ducklings, and vets alike, and welcome to Boot Camp Week 1 2022 Summer Duck Derby, our program for teaching you new players how to beat us guys that have been here for a little while. My name is Luffy. I'm joined in the booth by Budgmano and Greg, who's going to be running our seat tonight. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Man, hanging in there, excited and very happy to get this going. We got live action, Dark Moon cropping on the fly. Shout out to Dark Moon for doing the restream tonight for us. We got some good stuff tonight. We got some basic flags. We're going to introduce you guys to kind of the overall broadness of the randomizer here. Nothing too fancy, but we got some fun little things checked in here to kind of get you guys going. So whenever we're ready, we'll get that pulled up and we'll kind of review things with you. Greg will talk about what his thoughts are. Greg, our resident former Duckling Supreme champion, all those good things. So Greg's a good guy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's too kind. I mean, we're with Budgmano, isn't he also our Duckling?
Oh, yeah. We're both going to train up my replacement here, right?
Current Duckling Supreme, yes.
Duckling Supreme.
I can't speak highly enough of this program, so you ducks are in for a treat.
Yeah, so you got two Duck Supremes and just a guy here hanging out. It's all good.
No, Luffy. Aren't you the co-op tournament champion?
I mean,
you are definitely a somebody. Don't say you're a nobody.
I mean, yeah, co-op, 1-1 on Fizzle's New Year's Day thing. Me, Chanigan, and Shum had some fun doing that too. But I got a great teammate that I work with. I cannot take all the credit.
All right,
he shares a brain.
Yeah, for sure. So if anybody has been in the Discord, first off, if you're here and you aren't part of the Discord, just join the Discord. That's pretty simple. Just go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. There's a link at the bottom for the community Discord. Click on that and that'll take you to us, and that way you can kind of learn what's going on. If you've been around, and by around for a little bit, I mean like maybe the last month and a half or 2 months or so, we've been working on standardized flag sets, or not standardized, what's the word I'm looking for?
Presets.
Default or presets. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Presets on here. So Dark Moon's already pulled it up right here. Make it look a little bit better than that. Looks like that, sort of. You just have it. Okay, well, anyway, it's fine. If you look at...
Tiny eyes, up, dude. You have bad eyes, okay?
It's like kind of like...
It's full size! I don't know what's...
It's not full sized. You can still see the screen behind it.
It's slightly jank, but it's fine. It's fine. This will serve the purposes that we need.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I am being special here. So you'll notice here, top left hand, right there under starter presets. That is our beginner flag set. This is basically the flag set that kind of the community, myself included, and the people that helped put the presets together kind of came up with, that we thought would encapsulate Final Fantasy Randomizer as a game for a brand new player, like somebody who has never ever played the randomizer before but is sort of familiar with Final Fantasy 1, the original game. So this is that preset, and that is what we're doing today. So we are going to go over the flags for that beginner preset. So you're watching this now and you're like, man, I want to play some Final Fantasy Randomizer, but I don't know where to begin. Click the beginner flag set. Boom, you're good to go. Just roll a seed, call it a day. But first things first, let's go ahead and go over what we have here. So under our goal, you kill chaos. That's kind of how you beat the game, right? We don't have anything else checked, but if you are interested in knowing what all these things are that you could potentially check out the little tooltips right there, the little question marks. And there's a nice little illustration with some words on it. Like if you can't read, you can look at the pictures. And yeah, it'll kind of tell you everything you need to know. The only real thing that we have going on here is we have a Topher exit. So in the original game, you went to Topher, you just had to do Topher, and that was it, right? Now, you just go back through that little thing, and boom, you're out of Topher, and you don't need exit or warp or anything.
Yeah, it's a pretty handy thing right there. Say you walk inside, you're like, oh crap, I forgot heal pots. You can walk back out and get them. It's a nice little quality of life thing. One thing I'll say too as we're reviewing these flags, if you guys are new players, don't get comfortable. These things change all the time because our devs are amazing and always coming up with something every week, it seems.
Yep. I feel like we were on like 3.0 like 6 months ago, and now we're on 4.4. So I'm not really sure what's going on.
Because we were.
It's crazy.
He's not even joking.
No.
Right, so that's the goal. That's how you finish the game. Whatever, it's fine. Let's go to scale. So scaling is basically just like the low end and high end of things, right? Mm. So you'll see our gold, our low end is 30%, our high end is 250%. That's like the prices of things in stores. So in the original game, things were rather expensive. Well, we've made it to where it's not so cripplingly expensive to pick up, like, I don't know, level 3 or 4 magic or whatever. Mm-hmm. Everything's relatively, you should be able to afford things, is all I'm trying to say. And this is just kind of like that scale of the prices of things. The enemies, they go from 70 to 150% on both stats and EXP. So if you take something like an ogre, which has 100 HP, that ogre can roll between 70 HP and 150 HP, because that's how math works.
Yeah, it's based on vanilla.
Yeah. And then boss stats, same thing. Take a boss like Tiamat or Warmac, and it will be 700 HP to 1500 HP. And then the same thing for all the stat scaling. So they can get, if their stats roll up on the high end, they can get pretty tanky pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Overworld and dungeon encounter rates. This will actually kind of go over everything better than I could go over it here. So when you move this thing over, we have it set to 60% on the overworld and 70% to the dungeon encounter rate. But right here, it'll say what the amount of encounters you'll get per steps is, which I think is pretty awesome. It just tells you right up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was added, I think, before Spring Tournament, in preparation for Spring Tournament, to show people specifically what's going to happen. And, I mean, you think 6 and 256, 2 and 256, you're not going to see a lot, but the way the game works, you burn through those 256 pretty quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's an end screen that shows you your total steps that you've taken throughout the whole seed, and like some of us have numbers in our head that we try to keep the steps around, and they can get up there pretty quick if you're not careful. And that 6 out of 256 feels like 12.
Feels like 20.
Yes. Yeah, so in the original game, on the overworld encounter, it would be 10. So we're obviously dividing that, 60%, and then and then in dungeons it would be 8. So 8.
I just want to comment, if you're interested in learning all about the encounter table and how it works and how like enemies will show up and what enemies will show up and why, the wiki we have, wiki.FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, has our article that explains all of it, uses a deck of card analogy that actually is pretty much the analogy we've used for years and years now that explains it nicely. It's honestly too much of an explanation for us to get into right now, but just know that somehow it functions and the black magic works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. And like what he said, we could go into it. We could be like, there's 6 encounter cards in a 256 or whatever, and we shuffle them in. But whatever. That's something you can just read later on. As far as the experience is concerned, we've upped the experience to 2.5 times vanilla, plus an additional 250 per enemy, and that's mostly just for gold. And then we have what's called our EXP and gold progressive scaling. And basically we have it set to where every key item you pick up, anything that gives you the jingle, the
fanfare,
the fanfare outside of item. That's not equipment. We'll give you an extra 10% of EXP. So that stuff will add up pretty quickly. 10%'s pretty generous.
Yeah, typically we usually play with around 5%, or sometimes we can do orb scaling or shard scaling, depending on what kind of flags we're playing with. We won't get into too much of that, but 10% is definitely pretty juicy. You'll get levels very fast here. These are intended to kind of be fast and get you just used to playing.
Yeah. And it's not only for racing, because we're obviously going to teach you how to race the game, but it's just for fun too. Like if you're not interested in racing, if your thing isn't to join the community and like participate in one of our many tournaments that we have yearly, I mean, this is more like, I just want to casually play the game. This is just kind of like a fun way to play the game. So finally, we're down to EXP and chess. So yes, we have certain gold. 20% of the chests that have gold in them will now be converted to EXP, and that is 4,000 to 7,000 EXP in those chests. So, you know, maybe you don't have to kill some things. You can just open a chest and grab a bunch of levels.
Good level that way, yeah.
Yeah, it feels pretty good when that happens, when you walk into a dungeon at like level 4, open 2 boxes, you walk out like level 12. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. All right, let's go on ahead and go to our next thing here. We'll try to get, go on a little bit quickly so we can get to the thing. I know. I say that, and then I want to explain everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information on that page. It's fine.
And just bear with me, the browser is being slow because my computer is a potato right now, so...
Yeah, it's fine.
There we go.
So the way we set up the incentive locations here is basically everything that you would normally know in the vanilla game. So every place, every chest in the game that would have a key item in it in the original game will have a key item now. So Ice Cave is the floater chest, Ordeals, the tail chest, Marsh Cave, where the crown is located, Earth Cave, where the ruby's located, Sea Shrine, where the slab is located. Thank you. Sky, where the adamant's located, and Canaria Locked, where the TNT is located. That is all of our incentive items outside of just your main NPCs, and then of course your fetch quest NPCs, which is what's up top there. So the main NPCs are the royalty, Bicky the pirate, Sarda, the vendor item, which you can never forget the vendor item. Yep, it's not just caravan, it could be anywhere. So just always check those shops to make sure you don't forget a vendor item exists. And then of course the sages. And then the fetch quest, of course, is the prince, Astos, Matoya, the dwarves, both dwarves, and the Lefanish.
Lupa.
And then, of course, it's basically everything you would expect would be incentivized. But instead of the Excalibur, which, you know, you get the Excalibur from the Adamant, you're going to get a Masamune instead. And then, because I think one of the other items is something you don't really need in the game, or no, because the bridge is something you get from one of the royalties and the bridge is free, we went on ahead and threw a ribbon into the incentive pool. So we have not a free ribbon, but you have to talk to you have to find that ribbon in one of those incentive locations, and the same with the Masamune. So that's pretty good.
And bear in mind that you will hear the jingle when you find that specific ribbon.
Yes, you will hear the item fanfare when you find it. So if you find a ribbon that doesn't give you the item fanfare that you would for a typical main key item, you just found a second one. So good for you. But we're basically giving you 2 items here in the Masa and the ribbon that are just really what we call like end game gear right there. Like you don't need to promote to use the Masa. If it rolls up, which we'll get to eventually, it could be very generous and do a lot of damage very fast.
Yeah, I just want to go over what Saracen GG said in chat real quick. I want to make sure I get a correct list of everything. So the royalty, which is King and Sarah. Okay, this is the main NPCs. Royalty, King and Sarah. Bicky the pirate, so that's 3. Sarda, number 4. The sages, Lucan, is number 5. The robot inside of the waterfall is number 6. Number 7 is the vendor item. Again, I cannot stress the vendor item. It's like so important. like do not forget the vendor item is a thing. It ruins someone's run every single time.
I was gonna say I've seen tournament races fail because someone forgot the vendor item. Yep.
And then
forgetting to talk to an NPC, that also does happen.
Bicky.
Yeah.
Bicky. And then the fetch quest NPCs are anything that you would bring an item to get an item. So you've got the prince in Elfland, you've got Astos, you've got both dwarves, Narek and Smithy. You have Matoya, and you have the Lefanish, and then you have the fairy, which is the bottle turn in. So that should be everybody.
It is. I checked the tooltip while you were saying it.
All right, let's go on ahead and talk about Overworld. I don't think there's anything on here we need to talk about, but
Just the extended open progression.
Yeah. So yeah,
early open progression. Sorry.
So yeah, really the only thing here, we do have overworld map edits, as you can see there. Again, feel free to hit the tooltips. We're not going over everything right now. The early open progression just basically means you can go from Canaria to Dwarf Cave, like in the picture that you see there, and then there is a break in the river system between Ice Cave and Volcano. So in the original game, you had to go to that weird like canoe route to get to Ice Cave. You don't have to do that anymore. You can go from Crescent, and there's like a little spot that you can just kind of cut through and go up to Ice Cave that way.
I will say, having played vanilla, and then gone to the randomizer, I kind of forget this stuff isn't in vanilla anymore because it's just always on the early open progression. Like, you can't go to dwarves from Canaria. You have to sail there, but that's not something we're used to anymore. We're just like, I'm just going to I can't.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got under maps here? Overworld
Probably not much of anything.
Pretty standard, I think.
What is this?
Hold on, there we go.
Okay. So yeah, this kind of goes over like any sort of entrance shovel that you want to do. So if you want to go completely,
insane,
insane, you can shuffle up entrances. You can shuffle up all the floors in those dungeons. You can put towns in different towns. You can put towns inside of like the bottom of dungeons if you want to. You can have Topher be at the bottom of a dungeon, and that's what all that basically means there. The main things under dungeons that's basically always on is Castle Ordeals pillars. You know how in the original game you just go to the southernmost pillar and that just kind of gets you through that? Nah, that's too easy. We had to randomize all the pillars, because why not?
Why not?
And then, why not? And then we have Titan's Trove turned on. Basically, it just means, it just gives the ruby more purpose in the game.
In the vanilla game, you could get, if you had the floater, you could skip back behind the Titan and go look at his trove. But you can't do that in the randomizer when Titan's Trove edit is on.
Yeah. Probably won't make much sense. It probably won't matter much here because Titan's Trove isn't incentivized, but you never know.
Yeah.
Progression, we got an early king, so you don't have to kill Garland to get the king item. Early Sarda, you don't have to kill Lich to get the Sarda item. Or sorry, you don't have to kill the vampire to get the Sarda item. The early Sage item means you don't have to kill Lich to get the Sage item. And early Ordeals means you don't have to have the crown in order to go into Ordeals.
And by and large, these 4 earlies are almost always on. That's just like in most flag, they're on by default in most flag sets, and it's only the monsters that turn them off.
Yeah.
Or the people that like playing with Sarah.
You go to the king because you can't find Sarah, and the king's like, I'm not giving you anything. What are you asking for? Thanks. Yeah, okay.
And then lastly, our town things. One of the best new flags is the Gaia Shortcut. There are monsters that created the spring tournament flags and didn't turn this flag on, and it's like, why? So instead of walking like literally for your entire life around Gaia to get over to where the fairies whatever lake is,
a little pond,
there's like a little pond. There's like a little shortcut so you get up there, and then the item shop isn't like way off to the northeast either. The item shop over near that little shortcut. So Gaia is like a nice little fun city to visit as opposed to like a total hellhole in the mountains.
Well, I mean, I get what they were going for in the vanilla game. They wanted it to feel like a secret that you found the fairy, but it's obnoxious now when you're playing it. You're like, I just want to get through this town already. Come on.
There's some things that some people who are veterans that they hang on to and they cling to. Some people don't like the Gaia Shortcut, and some people are monsters and turn on confused old men. You know, we all have our things.
I got yelled at all of last Duck Derby because I kept turning off the fast boat. So I've learned that lesson. We'll get to that.
I was the one of the ones yelling at you there, Duck.
I know.
Bunch of men out here showing up. So lastly, we got Lefanish Hospitality. Normally in Lefane, you don't have a clinic or an inn. We added that because why not? Why didn't they exist in the original game? It's so dumb.
Really weird.
And then we did a Lefanish Lefanish Superstore, which basically just means you can get all of level 1 through 8 magic here. And by all of, you can't get the Gaia magic here. You can get basically all the other cities but Gaia's magic at this location.
So which makes sense.
Yeah, which makes sense. You can go to Gaia. Gaia's like literally up the street from here, but it's all basically all the cities minus Gaia, all right here in one, shop place, which is great in Entrance 4 Shuffle. It's the best thing. If
I
you
was gonna bring that up. Yep, with Town Shuffle on, like that's an amazing thing. Walking into like Provoca and you're finding Lefane, and then you go and look over, and like every magic is just sitting there in the beginning of the game, very easily accessible. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But I mean, with Gaia, you set up a Magic franchise. You don't want someone else horning in on that business. That's your Magic.
Yeah, that's my money, and I want it now.
Let's go ahead and go to Treasures here and see what's under this tab.
Eventually, it'll take at some point.
Nah, that's fine.
There you go.
And this just kind of goes. This just kind of goes over what's going to be shuffled in the game. So everything in a chest is pulled out of its chest, right? They pull every single treasure out of its chest and then just randomly distribute it back into its chest. That's what that means. If we did randomized treasures, we would take random treasures and throw them into the chest. But when it's just treasures turned on, we are taking the normal treasures that are in the chest in the normal game, pulling them out and putting them in random places. So you could open up the first chest and find a dragon armor right away, or you could still find a heal in that first chest.
But yeah, because there's only one dragon armor in the game, if it's just shuffled, you'll only find that one and not any others.
Yeah, exactly. Main NPC items, again, that just talks about what we've already kind of explained earlier. All the NPC items, the loot, the loot, the ship,
bridge, rod, canoe, cube, and bottle.
Yeah, are all picked up and put into new NPCs. Same thing with the fetch quest stuff. So your herb, your crystal, your adamant, your TNT, things that you have to turn into another person to get a thing are again picked up out of their original person and put onto another person. That's how the randomizer works. And then we have a free bridge because nobody likes to find a bridge. Plus the bridge isn't incentivized in the randomizer. It's never been as long as I've played this game. The bridge has always just been kind of a loose item that you have to find, and there's no point in not having a free bridge because the bridge can literally only show up in the first 3 boxes.
Yeah, if you have the open progression off and you have the bridge off, literally it's going to show up in one of the 3 chests at Topher because it can't go anywhere else.
No.
The only boxes you can open in the beginning of the game unless you're fortunate enough to get a key somehow.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to answer Miss Tribulus.
Miss
Tribulus. No, this is basically just talking about. So the first thing is letting you know what's incentivized, like what locations are incentivized. This part here lets you know what is shuffled. So this here lets you know, hey, those boxes are going to have incentive items. This area here lets you know what things are going to be shuffled around. So if you turned off main NPC items there, you turn that whole thing off, then yeah, Sarah's going to give you a loot. The king is going to give you the bridge, or vice versa, whatever.
Or he'll just give you gold or a cabin if you already have the free bridge.
Exactly.
Yep.
Bicky's going to still give you the ship. The robot's going to give you the cube, so forth and so on. But when you turn that off, it takes their incentive item out of their hand and gives them something different. Anyway, that's it. So let's go to Shops and Magic. And again, this is just more talking about what's randomized and what's shuffled here. So under shops here, again, you're talking every single item that is in a shop. So, you got Silver Sword, Elfland, and whatever, and you got a rapier at this place. You have a house and, Elfland and so forth and so on. All those normal items that are normally in shops in the vanilla game, again, are just picked up out of those shops, shuffled around, and put back into random shops.
So of the same type.
Of the same type, exactly. So, again, normally in the vanilla game, you'd have to wait until you got to Elfland to get the Silver Sword. Heck, Silver Sword could be right there in Canaria. That'd be pretty awesome, Or, how you had to wait until you got to Gaia before you get the Pro Ring and the Gold Bracelet? Well, they could be for sale in Canaria as well.
Could be quite nice.
Yeah. Shuffled magic levels, again, that same that same kind of like analogy thing. You take all the magic that's normally in their shops, you pick them up and you put them randomly distributed into new shops. So you know how Nuke is normally level 8 in Lefane? Heck, it could show up level 1 in Canaria.
And the chat will complain because people got Nuke at level 1.
I know, they'll be like, oh my god, easy man.
Free
seed is free.
So, but you do still keep the permissions of your light warriors, and that is specifically for the red mage. So in the vanilla game, the red mage could learn all of level 1 black magic, but in level 1 white magic, the red mage can only learn cure, and I think it's
slot 1 and slot 3.
Yeah, slot 1 and slot 3. Cure was slot 1. I can't remember what slot 3 was, but you would never pick it up anyway. Mm-hmm. And so that would be important as far as like what your red mage could pick up, because like, you know, if life or life 2 landed in that slot 2, which I think is for harm, then the red mage could never learn it because they couldn't learn it in the vanilla game in that particular slot.
Yeah, because I think the red mages were barred from the heal spells, the A spells, and the harm spells.
Yep. And then I think Ruse was like in the slot 4, so you could learn it after promotion. Mm-hmm. So, and that's just another thing. If you go to our website and you go to the Discord, you go to the Duckling like kind of area or the new player pond or whatever it's called now, you can either go through the pins or you can just ask questions and be like, hey, I was playing the game and my red mage couldn't learn Fade at level 1, and then people could be like, oh, that's because, you know, it was slot 2 or whatever. And thank you, Sir Link-a-Lot, telling us that Fog was slot 3 at level 1.
And I'm pretty sure like these guides and other tables like this are also in the wiki as well, because we're trying to condense everything into there as well.
Yeah, as well. So our balance, we just have cure, heal, or crap spells. They're all kind of crap until you get to like heal 3 and cure 4. So we've kind of made them a little bit better than they once were. And then Lamp is kind of like the Asuna of this game now. Instead of being completely worthless, at least it cures things.
Some statuses, yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's fine.
The reason we mock A-mute in the game, because you only cast it when you know you're going to get muted, but then your character gets muted and can't cast it, so what the heck was the point?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just kind of making those spells a little bit better. Lock and Lock 2 didn't work in the original game, so now they do work, and they actually lower the evasion of the enemies and automatically hit. So if you're running Will Bloodworth style flags and you've got like 300 to 500% stats, and you need Lock to land because everything's just missing attacks, then you can use Lock to lower their evasion so you can actually land a hit with your solo thief before he gets destroyed. Lastly, this is a brand new flag that we started doing, and this is just more to mock like basically every other Final Fantasy that has ever existed past Final Fantasy 1, and that's being able to use soft and life in battle, because there's nothing worse than not being able to bring your people back to life in the middle of like a crazy battle. Like, let's say for instance you're taking on Tier 1 and you get frickin' baned through a level 44 black belt, and now your main damage dealer is dead. Your white mage is fine because they got, you know, a ribbon on. Now you can at least try to cast life on him and bring him back to life so you can actually use him for something.
Yeah, that will happen too, because we have all seen it.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for this one. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to click over. There we go.
No, that's fine. And then outside of that, you know, this just kind of goes over everything that's shuffled as far as enemies are concerned. Shuffled rarity just means that like the elusive T-Rex or the Iron Golem or, you know, War Mech can potentially be more prevalent of battles. We have set everything to runnable because in the original game, random battles would be unrunnable for whatever reason. Like I got why the wizards would be unrunnable because they guarded the crown, but why are Zombles unrunnable? Why are Red Sahags and Wiz Sahags unrunnable? Why are Ghosts unrunnable? Why is like half the battles in Topher unrunnable? So
If I remember correctly, too, they didn't have the wait icon there either. It would say run still in the original game. You just couldn't run. You couldn't figure out why.
You had to know. Like, if you go back and watch the 2017 tournament, there was a lot of discussion from the commentators about, so this pack is unrunnable, but you have to know it's unrunnable. And thankfully, the devs fixed that.
Yeah. Shuffle surprise bonus basically just kind of moves around. Like, you know how the shadows in the original game always ambush you? Or like basically every enemy in the early game always ambushed you? Well, we just kind of moved it around to where certain formations that would normally not ambush you now will, and then certain ones that would ambush you won't anymore. Lastly, this whole tab here, and I am not going through everything on here, just it randomizes all enemies to the sense that... Yeah, so imps normally attack. Now imps could just randomly have nuke. Look at that. That'd be crazy. You know, and that's basically all it means. It's just taking all the scripts and spells that normal enemies would have in the game, picking them up, and randomly distributing it out through all the other enemies. So, you know, eyes now could not have quad X and glance and all the crazy spells that they normally have, and just be like, you know, punch-happy machines. Whereas, you know, again... imps could have nuke, or mummies could have nuke, which you hate to see.
Especially because mummies appear everywhere.
Yeah. And then we got rid of stun touch because stun touch is lame. And we shuffled the spike tiles. Man, I didn't even realize we did that. What are we thinking here?
Surprised that it's on the beginner set, but that's fine.
That's fine. It does mean that some areas are gonna have better fights, like just earlier, but it is a little weird because it's also less dependable now.
Yeah. Yeah, and this just basically means the Grey Worm normally is in that tile there, but now the Eye could be there, the Agama could be there. It just takes, again, I keep using that same thing. We pull the spike tiles, all the enemies on normal spike tiles, get them up in the air, randomly distribute them on different spike tiles.
My favorite analogy that I use when I'm describing the randomizer to people is I tell them we take the vanilla game, we throw it in a blender, and you get what you get out of it.
Pretty much. And then Temple of Fiend bats are going to give boss hints, which I'm excited about. I'm going to actually try to remember to talk to them if these guys tell us. They remind me.
Budge and I'll remind you.
Yeah.
All right. Party.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Someday.
Party.
There we go.
Yeah, nothing too crazy here. This just lets you know if you're going to have a forced party or if you want to do anything crazy with your party select. If you want to start with promoted classes out as opposed to, you know, your normal classes, or again, if you want to have a forced party there, if you want to restrict your party in any sort of way.
Spoiler alert for extra credit on Wednesday, there will be forced party members.
Woo!
Yeah.
Love that.
Spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Classes are going to do something. Yeah, that's fine. This just kind of does some class balance stuff. Basically makes the thief better because the thief in the original game sucked a lot. It's just trash. Straight up the worst character ever. So not only did we give them double hit percentage to act like they're, you know, dual wielding, we gave them better agility so that they can dodge more things and ambush more battles, kind of like in Final Fantasy V. We also did a thief lockpicking because why not? Like, it's a thief. You should be able to get into places that you can't normally get into. And so we set that at level 15. So once your thief gets to level 15, even if your thief is dead, you can still get into key locked areas. And that means Topher too. So it's kind of broken. You may not need the key in order to beat the game.
Just Weekend at Bernie's that guy and lift him up and throw him against the door. It works.
I picture Spaceballs when he takes the guy's hand to put it on the thing to open the locker room door at the end of the movie there. I might be showing my age here with that movie reference, but that's what I pictured dragging the thief around.
I didn't show my age with Weekend at Bernie's.
I mean, Spaceballs is about 10 or 15 years before Weekend at Bernie's, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, Spaceballs is a classic. I think everybody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We have normal BB crit rate. Normally that's turned on because the BB is out of control in the original game. And then White Mage is harm spell, damages all enemies, which is pretty awesome. But it only works on the White Mage. So if you get harm on your Red Mage, the Red Mage cannot cast harm onto imps or something like that. It has to be something undead. So this is just more of like a White Mage buff more than anything.
These buffs right here, like the White Mage Harm All and the Thief Lockpicking, Thief Agility Boost, these are all flags that have kind of come up in the last, like, what do you think, like 3 to 4 months? These are kind of like newish. So they've really kind of changed a bit of the meta here for some of the gaming, for some of the parties people take, which is a lot of fun because, like Greg was saying, it really makes classes that were trash that you just didn't want in your party really viable now and almost integral pieces of your party, which is really cool.
Yeah. And then if we go here, there's class blessings. This is kind of, I don't know where exactly this, like how you would, what this is similar to, but basically you give, each class can have a blessing that they wouldn't normally have. Let's say, for instance, you want to have them have 8 plus 20 to MDef right at the start, or your fighter can wield the Excalibur before class change. But then the malice could be they can't wear, you know, bracelets, or they can only wield thief swords or something like that. And
a good way to think of this is like a mini version of the FF5 job system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to make it pretty easy mode. So we have 2 bonuses to each class, which we'll go over once I have my seed rolled already, and we'll go over all the classes and explain what each bonus will do. But we have it turned to 2. We have no malices, which means, you know, no bad things, only good things. And then we have spellcasting bonuses, which just basically means that, like, cool, now my thief can randomly cast all black magic spells, which is pretty awesome. Sages is like the best one.
Yeah, Sage class basically gives your
Red Mage.
Your mage access to all levels of white and black magic. Like they get the mage permissions for white mage, black mage before promotion, and then the promoted class promotions once they promote. It gives them access to literally everything in the game, which is definitely broken.
Yeah, makes the red mage actually useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, gear and items. This is, again, I think a little bit more of the blursing, and then just some things that you could add to the game. So once he clicks it, no, it's fine. So you can do, like, in every other Final Fantasy game, again, like in Final Fantasy 1, you start with nothing. You literally are like, you know, at the end of Willy Wonka when he's like, you get nothing. So again, showing my age, I'm talking about Willy Wonka. You can actually start with something. You can hit starting equipment. You can start with like a random thing. We actually went like kind of normal game. You know, we'll talk about the consumables here in just a little bit. But like we didn't start with a starter pack or anything crazy like that. But if you go over to consumable items,
consumable. Okay, I see.
If you go over to consumables here, we do have a starting inventory of things. So we have our Explorer starting pack, and if you click the tooltip, which Dark Moon did, and you go down here to where it says Explorer starting pack, you realize you start with 10 tents, you got 50 heals, which is pretty dope, 4 pures, and 2 selfs. So we will be starting with that. It's pretty awesome.
It's a really good utility early in the game because, like, you know, money's at a premium early on, and you'll see that when Greg's doing his thing in a little bit. So getting these early items to just give you stuff, because softs always tend to roll expensive and, you know, can be several hundred to close to 1,000 if you're unlucky, which can be just murder trying to get early in the game.
Yeah. And then we also have treasure chest stacks. So certain things, like if you find a tent, it'll be 3 tents. If you find a cabinet, it'll be 2, 10 heals, so forth and so on. And then one of the main things, and this is something that we added a million years ago. I remember when House Full HP Restoration was like being talked about as a flag, like back in 2019, and there was like this big argument about how it's going to fundamentally change the whole game. Oh my God. You got to put like 8 houses down if you want full health, because it only gave you like 120, and now it's like, of course, you know, a standard for the game. Mm-hmm. But in the original game, if you used a house, it only gave you 120 HP, and you would save the game before you got your MP. So if you wiped out, you would not have your MP anymore. It's awful. So we fixed all of that with the houses, and of course, the house gives you full HP restoration.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, we've got our equipment blurring here. Basically negative 3 to +5 for all weapons and armor. Negative means it's not good. Plus means it's better than it was. And that's pretty much all I'm going to go over. He's got the tooltip up there. I think it's just best to look at the tooltip because then I'm going to start talking about numbers. We're on Twitch. Nobody wants to hear me talk about math. It's fine. Just go to the thing, click on the stuff. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Lastly, we've got, I know I said lastly with the Blurson, but we still have double weapon crit rate. So I guess that just kind of is like one of those things to balance out the fighter there. I guess the weapon crit rate wasn't as good in the original game because it sucked because they made the crit rate that was programmed into the thing actually be the crit rate of the weapon, not whatever the crit rate was in the original game. I don't know. I'm not making much sense.
There's a It's a weird thing where the weapons were all on a table and had an assigned number, and somehow the crit rate wasn't reading the crit rate, it was reading the weapons assigned number. So a lot of weapons were much better in vanilla because they were wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. The person with the M at the beginning of their name is saying it wasn't at the index instead of the crit value. That's exactly it.
Mr.
Mr. is letting us know. So yeah, it was the weapon index number, like exactly what Darkman is saying. And so we switched it to where it's the actual crit rate, but since the crit rates are so bad, we doubled those crit rates so that they're not like horrible.
Yeah.
This is really important, like this is really important for like end game stuff with like if you like you're gonna get a massive today, so you're gonna get an end game weapon, but you might only come across, a ice sword +3 and somehow you gotta make that work. But with the crit rate being doubled, it can really get you through those end bosses that really where crits are what you do to do your damage rather than just hits.
Yeah. And then the weapon elemental type bonus, so you remember when you were reading your Final Fantasy manual and it was telling you that the giant sword would do more damage against giant type enemies, and you take it and you hope you'd find a giant, it would like dink off the giant because it was a terrible sword. Well, it actually do what it's supposed to do and do more damage to that giant. Same thing with the coral sword, will actually hurt sea type enemies. Rune sword will hurt magic type enemies. Sun sword will kill undead enemies. The X-Scowl is like infinitely better because it has all those weapon bonuses on it. And that's all that means.
And with the flag set right now, the elemental bonus is set to 30 here. And when you consider the fact that a lot of your good close to end game swords are doing something like 30, 40 damage, that's doubling it against an enemy that's weak to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're almost done here. It only took us 40 minutes to get this far. Sorry about that. I said we would do this quickly, and then we sure as didn't. Sure. But next week, we are not going to do all of this. Next week, we are literally we're going to be like, hey, this is what's happening. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is just bug fixes and conveniences. You can just look at all that stuff on your own.
Everything that was supposed to work the way it did in vanilla and didn't work right now works right. They've pretty much fixed everything. And then anything that makes the game play a little more like the remakes or later games in the series and just smooth out the experience that you're not like playing at what feels like 1/10 speed. That's here as well. Plus some handy helpful things. The one I like to point out, or a couple of them, the identify treasures, which lets you know like what's actually in the treasure box as opposed to just what was there. Like you can't hold it. Now you can actually know you can't hold it, but it's a coral sword in case you actually want it.
Yeah, because like if you open a treasure chest, right? In real life, and you have too many things in your hand, like you're carrying 3 sodas in one hand and like a Slim Jim or whatever, you can be like, oh, well, I don't want this Slim Jim anymore. Let me pick up this coral sword, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, and then shop information is on here, and this will let you know at all the shops what the thing does, what its stats are in the case of spells, what the spell will do, which is especially useful in some of our weird spell flag sets, which this isn't here, but still, even on basic spells, you can go and the shop will let you know just what the spell will do. And there's a similar one for chests that we have on for beginners now. Doesn't always get turned on in later flag sets for experts because we kind of know what stuff does, but for while you're still learning, chest information is very useful.
It also works when you're in a shop. Like back in the day, you would just buy weapons and pray that your person can actually equip them.
Yep.
Now your character will actually raise his hand and be like, "Yo, I can hold that thing."
That's the other improvement of shop information. You'll notice that the red mage and the white mage here on the thing have their hands raised, and that's because they improved it and let you now know what you can equip from a glance. So if you're like, "Why am I not able to learn this spell?" Your red mage will tell you.
Yeah. and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'll do the beta.
Yeah, beta is just more for like AP, multi-world and
we're good.
Random stuff. So let's go ahead and move on to my screen so we can talk about what I got going on before I get started. And then I'll let you and Budge Mono actually talk. Well, Luffy and Budge Mono talk. Because I feel like Budge Mono, which I will say your name differently every time. Because
That's fine. You're getting better.
I was like, I realized after I said it wrong 3 times in a row, I was like, it's actually Budge Mono. Why don't you be a good person and say the right thing?
Darkmoon still gets my name wrong too, so it's fine.
Every time I call you Luffy, I know you cringe.
I'm good with it now. It's you. I'm good with it. You're the one person I let get away with it.
Right. So what you'll notice here, first off, I want to point out right at the bottom here, you'll see all these characters like a hammer, shirt, stick, and all that stuff. That's our hash. That's basically when you're doing a race. That's how you can verify that you have actually pulled up the right seed and not like randomly rolled a different seed or accidentally pulled up like the wrong seed or did something weird. You can just be like, hey, my hash is hammer, shirt, stick, shirt, chucks, or whatever.
Give me 1 second. I'm not getting any music from you, and I want to reset things. Oh, there we go. Okay.
I don't have my music turned on.
I wanted them to be able to listen to music, and I was going to have to reset Discord, but Winamp finally came up. So there we go. Okay, we're good. Go.
Yeah, I mean you'll have audio from the game, or not audio, like magic spell sounds and shit like that. Oh, not those words. Sorry. Anyways, please don't hate me, Plexel, for using bad language on your thing. So first off, if you ever want to know what your blessings and curses are, you will hit the select button on your character, and there you go. Our bonuses today, we have a white mage spells. That's kind of good on your fighter. That means your fighter can learn every white mage spell, not white wizard. You will not be able to learn white wizard spells at promotion. It will be only white mage spells, and that includes white mage spell growth. So that's kind of good. It's fine. Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. And then plus 20 to vitality, which is good because fighters already get a lot of HP growth anyway. So like Saracen points out, it's kind of roidy.
Yeah, this fighter's gonna have like 500 HP at like level 20. It's gonna be great.
All right, so now we have a thief that has night spells. So this thief will be able to learn the spells that a knight would normally learn, plus be able to learn the ninja spells at promotion. So that's kind of good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 20 to agility. So now we have a thief with 100 agility. Kind of good. Extra hit percentage, which is always going to be good for the black belt. The more hit percentage, the quicker you get more hits on that black belt, and he becomes like the supreme fighting machine. And the extra luck's not too bad either.
Mm-hmm.
Red mage gets black belt vitality, so that just means that per level, instead of getting what the red mage would get per level for vitality, it would get whatever the black belt would get per level, however they figure that out. And then just an extra bit of strength, which it's kind of negligible in my opinion.
Chat's already calling for you to do the 12-hit black belt meme.
I'm gonna do it now. We're going for it. The level 50 black belt, just to punch things. Plus 5 luck and Vorpal, because your white mage needs to wield a Vorpal. And then last but not least, we've got 30 HP and a Thor's hammer on the black mage. So based on this, and I will run whatever party you guys think I should run. I have an idea of what I want to run, but based on what we're seeing here, what are you guys thinking?
Budge, what are you thinking, Bud?
I don't know. All those 3 melees all seemed really good. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to do. I mean, you get spells on an unpromoted fighter or thief. It's really attractive. That's hard to turn down, especially the thief with extra agility. That nobody's going to hit that all season long. With lockpicking, I think probably taking a thief here.
Yeah, what I want to do is I kind of want to show off those blurstons. So normally I would run like a mage-y kind of party, but I'm thinking like what 412 GD pointed out, like fighter, black belt, thief, black mage. Or like maybe or I wouldn't bring the red mage because we already have like 2 people that can basically cast white magic spells.
The fighter with the white mage spells makes the white mage basically irrelevant, and the thief with the knight spells and access to their spells once they promote also makes the red mage, to me, sort of irrelevant.
Yeah. So, especially with all that extra agility, having that thief in the front slot's going to be pretty dope. So, I think I am going to run that. So, thief will go with Luffy. We'll put the fighter here. So again, white mage spells plus vitality. We'll do dark moon, black belt, buff, and our black mage will be a Mano, the Hands of Faith. All right, so I'll let you guys talk because I've talked enough, and I'll start going.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead. I'll start the timer. I'll keep an eye on the tracker as well, Budge, so I got that covered. We can just talk and have a good time.
All right, great. Sounds good.
Cool. All right.
All right, so we're going to go check the magic first here. What we got? So, that harm 4 not going to help us. We don't have a white mage. Exit is locked out. Well, we got night spells, right? So we're good.
Yeah, exit's good for the knight and the thief. Wall is locked out. Harm 4. I mean, sure. By the time we get to use it, it's not going to really make a difference. Warp is also nice, and lightning 2 is your first sweeper. It's kind of fine.
Yeah, that'll get us through the early game.
Yeah. Warp and exit are 2 spells that are just terrific utility to have on your party members. It makes traversing these early dungeons really convenient to be able to kind of go back a floor or just leave the dungeon completely and kind of save your levels, because you can run into some early trash in the beginning of the game that is just unexpected.
That Pro Ring plus 2 is a great find. That Pro Ring resists death, and it's the best armor in the game, and rolled up, so that's even better.
Oh yeah, plus 10 and no evasion penalty. All classes can equip it. It's really good, and only 4,200. That's pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things. Chain armor, pretty good early game armor there for the knight. It's fine. The ninja can also equip that. Silver shield plus 4 is fine, but we'll find something better in a box somewhere along the line, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, shields are not something I usually pick up unless I'm scrounging for armor.
Right.
Ooh, rapier plus 4 would be nice.
Yeah, that is going to be pretty good early melee here for the thief and the knight. That'll be able to carry us through that early game. 32 crit on that is just pretty ridiculous for a 9 gold, I guess you'd say sword. So Greg right here, taking your pretty standard pathing. He's taking some time to show everybody kind of the prices as well. 9 gold for heal pots, really good. There's those softs at a couple hundred. Not too bad, not the worst I've seen. Houses at 1,200, also really not the worst thing ever. Still kind of expensive. 154 for cabins, though, is a little rich.
Yeah, you'd be hoping to find tents here for double digits. But we start with 10, so we're all right. We can get to Provoca. Maybe we'll be in better shape there.
Sure. Yeah, that definitely makes that Explorer starting pack a really useful thing, because nothing is worse than being in Canaria here and having no save items.
One thing you notice here, Greg took his time going through Corneria, but you'll see people talking about your time getting through that first town. You want to be out of there in sort of under 45 seconds. It's a good early game practice to do to improve your times.
Yeah, the Duckling Supreme from my class, Dead Pulse, definitely says his time mark is about 35 seconds in and out of Canaria is kind of what he shoots for, which is, I mean, it's fast.
Yeah, that's why he's so good.
Yeah. Ooh, something there.
Right.
It was the Gurms, I think. Something had that. That's going to make the early game annoying. Rururoos.
Ooh, fun names.
And right here, Greg showing you the use of warp and exit here. Just not going to worry about whatever had cremate. Just going to warp out, save that item, and go back in and just say hi to Garland.
It shouldn't take long here.
I had less than 100 HP on that Garland. Let's save Princess Sarah, talk to the king, we get ourselves a ruby. Okay, ruby's good. That'll give us access to Sarda if and when we get the ship, and Canal, also good. Nice.
There we go.
So,
It's showing our stats there, total steps.
Yep.
And you go on the status screen, just like you did on the character select, you press select, it'll be able to see your blurses. So if you forget.
I'm going to show a cool little trick here because Rich reminded me, of course, that I didn't bother talking to the bats because I'm dumb. So if you do end up at Castle Canaria and you want to go back to Topher, this is pretty good for free airship seeds. Like if you park your airship at Toph and you need to go back there after you've killed Garland and talked to the princess, you get an exit here at Canaria. He'll take you back to Topher.
Actually, more of a warning I've found is you get that level 1 exit, you get cheeky and you exit out of the king and princess, and oh no, go walk back now.
Time for learn. Oh my God, Bizzle, where are you?
oh, nice. Speed bump. That's Lich 2 right there. Speed bump.
Yep, Lich got the cure 4. It's like.
So it looks like.
Ooh, Chaos has nuke.
Top and nuke.
Ooh, Tiamat nuke and crack. Okay, so a couple of real gross endgame spells right there. Crack especially can be truly annoying and devastating for a party, but we do have that free ribbon, well, air quote free, sitting out there somewhere in an incentive location, which would be pretty key to find with Crack. Crack scares me more than nuke or nuclear, to be honest.
Yeah, that and zap. Zap's easier to stop with, was it the black shirt resist the zap? But, yeah, both are. My first Duck Derby I lost to a crack, yeah, so.
Yep, they're definitely, it's a thing. Enough to make them funny, Ariel, man. I gotta love it.
Yeah.
All right, pretty standard path here. Greg gonna go over 50-50 here to either check the shops or do the pirates first. With Lightning 2, it'll be fine to just go and do the pirates, get the money, and then go over to the shops.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. If I have the money for it, I'll check shops, but if not, pirates will give you the money you need.
Yep.
Yeah, I only had like $452, so I just went on ahead and saved the game since I didn't have any lit 2s.
Yep. And with 3 of his party members able to cast some form of decent magic based off of the blursings, the early game here is going to be relatively expensive. So, question in chat there from Beach Dreaming: why use weight on 3 party members? That is just kind of a little bit of a speed thing for some of our people here that do runnings and racings. Instead of taking the time to menu an attack, which can take, I don't know, say an attack takes 2 seconds, the weight will take 1 second. It's just saving seconds here and there. And when you get to some levels of competitiveness that some people in this community are really, really good, you need to save those seconds anywhere you can.
I got life 2. That's really early.
Really pretty good. Ice 2 and Fire 2. Okay, so we have all 3 level 2 tier spells for damage on the black caster early. Pretty good. Exit and Life 2. Exfer even is a decent spell. Single target invis is fine. This is some good early magic.
Oh, for sure. And Fire 2, you're really going to want that for, if you're doing early march dive. You go to Ice early.
Right.
Ice 2 is a stronger spell, but a lot of those packs are going to resist it, so worth it to get both.
Yeah. Fire 2, it is the worst, air quote again, of the middling sweepers that we'll have here with the tier 2s, but to your point, it's going to be pretty impactful to get us through those early dungeons with a lot of undead that show up.
All right, so we haven't gotten our ship yet, so that means we're gonna have to use that early open progression and head over to dwarves.
What did Bicky give us? I was busy discussing and I missed it.
Oh,
Go see Adamant.
Ah, okay, so this is fine. We're gonna have to go this way anyway. So there's that open pathway there between the mountains, right by that river dock or that sea dock right there. That did not exist in the vanilla game. $2,000 in those boxes. That's pretty good. And oh, you love to see it.
Lazy dwarfs.
Yep.
Awesome.
These are you just heard Budge call it. These are what we call lazy dwarves in the community here. But when you go there with only one key item, it can be real annoying to come back with the second one. All right, this is fine. We're gonna keep walking. So we're gonna walk ourselves back over here to Matoya's cave, which we didn't check on the way over. Oh, ogres with fire too. Gross.
Yeah, it's just a reset.
Yeah. It's like they'll swing too instead of just throw fire two out, so that's at least okay.
Getting the early levels, that's important to make Marsh and some of these other earlier dungeons a bit safer. So it's not the worst thing in the world to take some of these fights with ogres for.
Yep, I agree. They're decent early levels, like you were saying, and with the 10% per key item bonus right here. Oh, George's also have cremate, so
Annoying.
Yay. Matoya's area over here, she also has 3 free boxes in here that can have some kind of gear. Greg will probably check them while he's in here. When you have loose items, which you can play with, and we'll cover that in one of our either boot camps or extra credits in the weeks to come. These are 3 boxes that you'll probably check early in the game, no matter what, just looking for something. Oh, hey, black shirt's pretty good.
It's another opportunity on your way to Provoca. If you do need money, you can always check that and see if you can grab something good.
Correct. Hey, there we go. That black shirt right there, the best endgame armor aside like an opal bracelet for that black mage, that's going to be able to use it once they promote. But the most key with that is free cast of ice too. It's just another sweeper right here. That'll give that black belt something to do before we get him online punching.
You notice from Matoya, we got the ship there. That ship showed up at her dock. So when you get the ship in the inner sea, it's going to show up on the nearest dock that's accessible from the inner sea. So assuming no early open progression as well. So if you get an ice, it'll be Provoca. Volcano will be Elfland and not Crescent. Just things to keep in mind.
Even the sages, if you get the ship from the sages, will appear at the Elfland dock, which is interesting when there's a dock right there. But like Budge was just saying, it has to spawn inside the inner sea. So even if you find it in a really weird location late in the game, like say Ordeals, it will spawn at Cranaria.
Yep. So Greg's got the rubies, so he's going to go through Titan and check Sarda here.
A bit of health on those arachnids. Crunch, crunch, ruby.
Let's see if he does this little speed trick here. He's going to walk out the left exit, save. Fight spiders. So when he comes down to check these chests, if they're good, he can warp out. If they're bad, he'll just reset, and he saves some time.
Yeah, we're going to keep that. Yep. So that's about 5K in boxes and about 4,700 in experience. That probably gave him a couple levels right there, which is a beautiful thing.
And is that per character? That doesn't get split between the 4. It doesn't.
Ooh,
I think it's for the entire party.
Yeah, so everybody got 1,000, I think. Yeah.
All right. I suppose that's a bit less broken.
Slightly. Well, maybe. I mean, we're level 8. Well, we did get quite a bit of We have quite a bit of a boost here as well from the key items we've gotten so far. So level 8's not unreasonable at 13 minutes.
Looking
I should have
dangerously
paid
here,
more
right?
attention. What did Sarda give us?
The bottle.
Yeah.
Bottle.
I'm living dangerously without camping gear.
I was wondering what you were doing, but you know, you do you, buddy.
I got a fast boat. Boat's going fast.
Fast boat, best boat. It
Oh, yeah.
goes the same speed as the airship, but I swear it goes faster.
Oh, it seems so fast.
Yep.
If you continue to crash into docks like I do, if you hold B, you can hit the brakes, slow down to park your boat.
All right, level 3 magic black. Let's see. We got ice 3. Okay, that's the
Nice.
best elemental sweeper, but it won't be effective against certain enemies, but you still love to see it. And womp womp.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Lamp for the memes. But
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, magic's not very great here.
Yeah. You got enough to get through the early game here, but it's, you know, most of your damage is coming from your melee at some point. Heal 3 is great. Seeing that in the first 4 levels, that can save you some heal pot spam later on. Bane, it's the least favorite of the insta-kills that I like to see, but it'll do its job against Tiamat. It can work against Kraken. You'd like to see Brack instead, but it's fine.
yeah, I feel like this party we're probably not going to need to get through those fiends, but yeah,
Probably not, yeah. By the time...
that's the utility.
Ooh, 1,000 for silver bracelets. Everybody can equip those. That's pretty decent absorb and no evasion. Only -1 evasion right here for all the classes. That's pretty really good early game here.
So I'm basically in a situation now where I had 2 options. I could have either gone to Crescent and got the Sage item. I can go to Marsh Cave. Marsh Cave's going to be pretty quick. So, and I'm in the area, so I may as well hit that up, and then I'll head over to Crescent. But those are basically my only 2 options at this point.
Yeah, you see he's getting funneled into certain areas right here. This is not a location that you're really going to want to like leave behind. It is incentivized. There's a pretty good chance you're going to get something like the canoe or another turn in like the crown or something here that you're going to want to get. We're running out of things that are accessible here besides having to dive dungeons at some point. But we don't even have Northern Docks turned on, so we're going to have to get that canoe pretty soon.
Yeah, and the thing you want to watch out for, just in terms of your routing, Crescent, it's a 50-50, but if you don't get the canoe there, you're coming back here anyways. Whereas Marsh puts you kind of close to Northwest Castle, and it's a shorter walk, so I think this is the right play.
I agree. Oh, daddy, that box right there. That box has become a room that more runners will check here and there. I like checking that box walking down through Marsh Cave. I have found good stuff in there, and Greg just found himself a loose ribbon, and there is crack. That's
scary.
Yeah.
That ribbon was kind of nice, and
Yeah,
having Life 2 on that night is also kind of nice.
Yeah, when you said you're going to go real quick through Marsh Cave, I didn't want to say anything, but that ribbon just saved your bacon slightly.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know the ribbon it resists all elements in the game, so that crack, if you got a ribbon on, it's not going to hit you unless you're extremely unlucky.
Yep. More XP, pretty good, and that's what wants to be a house. All right, so Frost Dragon tile here. This is interesting. Depending on how much HP they have, this could be a decent source of early levels. Looks like we got between 100 and 242 with my quick math. What do you think? They're like 150 or so? That's actually kind of low.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't really like grinding on any sort of dragon tile. It's so evasive, especially with crack hiding in the wings. I'd be a bit wary of trying to do a little grind here.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's good to know it's there, but there's other accessible places that are going to be pretty good for us to look at later on.
It's that tail we got on Mars. If Greg decides to take this black belt to the moon, we don't really need it. But if not, that is a really useful item to find with, you know, a thief and a knight, or a thief and a fighter in your party.
Yep.
That's going to enable all the good weapons, all the good armor on your characters. And
Yeah, Mischievous in chat right there, only grabbing chests on the way to the incentive because of the cracker just to be fast. Probably a combination of both. Greg really is just checking kind of the boxes he has to right now. That ribbon check was real nice. That's probably the best item he would get out of that dungeon, most likely. So really just hitting the room with 2 boxes in it and then just grabbing the incentive item. The 50-50 here turned out that it looks like it is the sages here. They're going to give us the canoe, which is, I mean, is this even randomized? But it's fine. And then things are going to open up a little bit. I'm really intrigued to see what Greg decides to do next. Hey, there are your tents.
nice, 30. That's good.
It's a pretty good price.
We still haven't seen a vendor item yet.
Mm-mm.
So it means we got Anurag, Gaia, or Caravan, right?
Yeah. Ooh, okay, so there's Fade right there. Knight learnable, level 6 because the fighter has black or white mage spells. There's our Brack and Fast. Okay. Level 6 is like the I mean, that's the last place I like to see a spell like Fast. You really only need 4 charges probably to get there. Oh,
Loader.
that is very interesting.
Yeah, considering, do we have the Raycon Desert Dock, or am I losing my mind here?
I'm about to look at the flags myself here.
Question.
Oh, you know what?
What?
It'll come to you. I'm looking at what's incentivized. Oh, gross. There is one more location that you can go.
This was what comes from never playing vanilla.
Yeah.
Forget about some of this.
Yes. It's come to me now. I should have done it when I was in the area. That's silly. It's been a long time since this particular location has been incentivized.
Yep.
So, yeah.
The
Freaking Fiend Dungeons getting you every time.
some of the more recent flags that we're playing with here has the incentive location for this dungeon behind the rod, so it's probably just in Greg's mind. He doesn't have the rod. Why is he going to go to Earth Cave? But the vanilla ruby chest is also incentivized. So this right here will either be our canoe or our crown leading to the canoe.
Yeah. So we're gonna do some cheeky checks here real quick. See what we have as far as spike tiles are concerned. There's 2 different spike tiles in this Hall of Giants. Normally you wouldn't be able to know, but because it's both of them are giants, but there are 2 different ones. So we've got Nightmares and we've got Sphinxes. Sphinxes I'm not gonna take, but let's see what the Nightmares give me. Sometimes they roll low, sometimes they're no fun. So
Get that black shirt too to throw at him. The Nightmares are susceptible to the ice spell, which is pretty good.
And I'm actually not going to check the one up top. I'm going to check it on the way to the vampire. So yeah, on this floor, there's earth tiles. Now, I'm not going to open very many boxes on the way down because obviously nothing's really incentivized. I'm just going to get boxes that are kind of on the way. But I will check one particular box because I can see what the earth spike tile is.
Yep, there's a spike tile on the first floors here that is in certain rooms that Greg's talking about that is accessible on all 3 floors. But there's a really quick spot to check here. Also right here, Greg's showing off this little trick right here, walking along the bottom of a room where a door is. This does not advance the encounter table. So Greg can walk along that wall for an hour and not take another fight. But as soon as he leaves the safety of that door and hallway, he can take another fight depending on where he is in the encounter table. But right here, repeatedly walking, no fights. You'll see a lot of, advanced tech from runners walking in front of doors specifically to save a step here, or once Greg gets the canoe and maneuvering in and out of the river system, stepping in and out of the river system also does not advance the encounter table. So something else that Dead Pulse really hits on when he's, you know, doing his reviews and talking to people is really getting these pathings in to kind of get used to that, just to be a part of your daily play when you try to do the game.
I don't know what's faster, but you take less steps if you guillotine an enemy as opposed to walking around them.
Yeah.
I mean, guillotining this bad here, I'm going to take one step, whereas I'm going to have to take 4 steps to get around them.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I first came into the community and NPC guillotine was going to maybe be a thing, and now it's just there.
I joined at the right time. All these annoyances were already taken care of.
Mm-hmm. So mud goals with Ice 3, not the greatest here, but Greg's going to see what kind of HP they got. Looks like we're around 200-ish right now. So somewhere between 2 and 350, maybe like closer to 200 right there with that swing on that top one. Not great, but, you know, also fine.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. You'll take it once and then move on. There's something better out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of those were given the same EXP as Nightmares, and Nightmares I could kill with Ice 3 as opposed to, you know.
Yeah.
But those aren't good spike tiles. Like, good spike tiles are like Agamas and Eyeballs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It's never Mohawk guy that gets in my way at Provoke, although he does that from time to time. It's the guy when you're walking in that decides to like pivot right in front of you at the last second when you're trying to walk down the middle of Provoke.
I just despise that little old lady in Corneria who gets in the way between the armor and weapon shops.
Oh my god, yes.
That's the worst.
Always the old lady near the magic shop in Melman that's in my way. I'm like, get out of the way. Like, who are you? Like, why are you here? Why can't I NPC guillotine you? Let's see if she's in front of there. That lady right there. Like, get out. Like, what? Oh no, she actually died. Never mind. That's not that lady. Or dead. All right, so we got our canoe, we got the floater. Let's get in the air, and then we'll decide what we're doing from here on out.
So this is really going to kind of open everything up here. We have no loose items, so there's not really going to be the incentive to just go to immediate chest dense locations and just start pulling items out of there. Greg is going to probably just kind of really figure out what he's going to do next. Level 13, I think, or 12 across the board. You can start clearing some dungeons if you really wanted, but we're still missing a bunch of key items here. No cube, no chime, no oxyel, no rod, no loot, no key. So pretty much everything we need to finish the game, we do not have. So there's really, there's Ice Cave and there's Ordeals.
And he had the bottle turning as well. That's always a nice, quick thing to do. Just a quick sail down, but there's a guaranteed incentive in Ice, and he's got warp and he's got exit, so this is not so bad. And what, there's 5 trap tiles here?
Yeah, 5 spike tiles in Ice Cave. Pretty dense location if you're going to check spike tiles. With the black belt in tow right here, and the black belt already punching 3 or 4 hits, I think, right now with that plus hit percentage. If we come across a spike tile here that we're going to want to take, this could be online very fast with the XP boosts we've gotten already from our items.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's gross.
Nice.
That wasn't very nice.
Hey, Stolia, welcome. Yes, Duckling season is back up and week 1 boot camp hype. We got Gregly Puff running our beginner flag set here. I'm Luffy, joined in the booth by Budge. We got Darkmoon on the restream. This is good stuff.
I was just taking random battles just for the heck of it. Normally in a situation like this, if I was like really running, I probably wouldn't be taking any of these battles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just trying to get some levels here and there and just show what the enemies can do, as well as you notice those wraiths throwing out ice too. Seems weird.
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen Grogers and all kinds of other things with random spells. So again, just showing how this hugging the wall, it's just so important. It's like really,
It's really you need to incorporate that into your pathing. It's really important. It doesn't work on every wall though. I'm just gonna make sure y'all know that. It's got to be the wall that's with the door at the bottom of the room.
So I checked that because I wanted to see what the spike tile is, but I want to show the warp trick, obviously. So you can't do this in the vanilla game because you can't have warp until after you class change, and you need the floater to class change. But here, because you can get warp beforehand, if you hop in this hole here and you use warp, it takes you right back up here, and you can check these little little thing of things.
Slab right there in the incentive ice skype location, that's a pretty good find because we have that bottle. I hate having to go to that side of the world, to those continents, without both key items. Sometimes it burns me, sometimes it doesn't, but that definitely is some good peace of mind there to have that.
Right.
Stupid stun.
Yeah. I was just checking these last couple boxes to see what was up with them.
That
Nothing
is not
weird.
the worst spike tile ever either. This Gersharks can roll kind of thick, but if they decide to roll down for once, this could be some pretty quick XP. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, Saracen mentioned in chat, you can drop down on the other side of the incentive chest, and you can check the eye tile at the same time. That's what
Yeah.
you do. When you want all the boxes, or you want to see that tile?
Yeah, so if I did this and then warped, I could do that. But I don't want to fight wizards, those are dumb. And I'm not going to check the bottom spike tile because it's a little too dangerous to grind on that one. Before I go to Volcano, yes, granted, it would be quicker to go to Volcano, and routing-wise, it would be quicker to just go into Volcano, but I do need to save the game at some point. Plus, I have the slab on the bottom I'm going to turn in, and I want to do that kind of in one go as well. That's kind of what I'm doing here.
The plus hit percent on that black belt would make it not, game-changing breaking to find that early Nasa if it turns out to be one of these turn-ins here, but that is a real nice thing to find before you take your initial levels with the black belt. If you can get them swinging a Masa Moon, a solo grind is much easier to get up on online with a Masa in hand when the black belt's not doing their punch damage just yet.
There's my nuke finally.
And Quad X. Nuke and Quad X, two of my favorite spells. Obviously, Nuke does Nuke things, but Quad X, underrated, in my opinion, by some people.
I love Quad X. I think that's a great spell.
Agreed.
I think it's just a spell nobody ever used in vanilla, because why would you waste a level 8 spell on Quad X when you got Nuke there? But
Well, especially because you got to be level 25 to use Quad X, and you're going to be doing more than 300 damage with any of your melee classes by then. So it's like, what's the point? I'm just checking these. I'm not really showing them off because I wouldn't probably pick up anything at level 7 at this point, but just kind of showing off that. Showing off that the item shop is here instead of in the area that it normally would live in. Let me grab a couple houses.
I already forgot this shortcut was on. I would have walked
And
a long way.
then we've got our level 8 shops, which you can't normally get to this way. Normally in the game, you would have to... So the shop wouldn't be here. To get to the level 8 spells, you'd have to go all the way around here. Get this. You gotta go all the way around here, go this way to get to the level 8 shops. You gotta go all the way up here to get to your vendor item area, or the vendor shop.
Up that both ways.
Yeah, exactly. And then you gotta go all the way around here. But look at this shortcut. You don't have to do any of that. Just go right through here and blam, I can turn in my bottle. You can do anytime. There's my rod.
Alright, well that is a dungeon item that we're gonna need. But that's not exactly... I mean, it's progression, but it's not exactly breaking the seed wide open.
All right, so we know at this point the vendor item is either vanilla at the caravan or it's an on rack. So that's at least something.
It's a great name.
Oh, Wyvern? Yeah.
I like it.
Well, that's showing the power of Quad X there.
And then here's our you know, the inn and the clinic. And then over here, this is that like, Danish hospitality. If we hadn't already seen like the spells for 1 through 4, but if we hadn't and we wanted to come through here, or if we had done class change already, we could come through here and just grab all the spells in one go, as opposed to hitting up a bunch of different cities. So
Greg right there also showing off some neat little jank in the game that still exists of being able to walk from door to door instead of walking out and then back into the door. Ooh. Loot. Okay.
So required checks, but it's not helping us at all over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives it the extra 10%. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So we have, as far as dungeon items to go to finish the game, we have our rod, and that loot is now accessed to Temple of Fiends Revisited, but we still are missing Oxiel, Chime, Cube, a couple other items like the key, obviously, whatnot. So I'm thinking that this is gonna be Ordeals, possibly,
Or Volcano.
Volcano. It's gonna be Ordeals or Vendor over by Onrek.
Oh yeah, the vendor.
We got Waterfall open too, so some checks.
That's true. All right, so we got some stake here. What Greg is doing, he's over the past year or so, there's been a bit of a meta shift when it comes to getting your levels on your characters. This desert grind, there's 4 quadrants here that have pretty high encounter XP encounters here. You can come across that mythical T-Rex, you can come across a couple sandworms, which we affectionately call sandwiches and call pulling up to the sandwich station. Tyros are stake, they are not friend, they should be punched and written to oblivion. So pretty good here. The Tyro can roll up and they can hit kind of hard, but I mean, in a pinch, this would work.
Yeah, Tyro's not really the grind you're looking for here. Sandwiches, T-Rex, those would be better options.
Mm-hmm.
Thing to note, the way the game works with encounters, there are grids overlaid, and there are 4 encounter zones, we call them, in the desert here. So Greg checked the bottom right, bottom left, he's doing the top left. Trying to find that blue
dead anyway.
It's incredible though with that agility buff that it still was punched down like that.
Yeah, Tyros don't mess around when it comes to critting things. So this is pretty wild. Yeah, we've got the same encounter zones in those 3. This top quadrant. If we get Tyros again, I'll be we got
Wow.
rings.
Wow. All right. So desert grind, I mean, it's fine, but there's still some more locations that Greg can check here to try to find that eye, try to find that Agama, your real premium kind of trapped house here. If you really get desperate, you can find the zombie dragons, but Budge has already discussed about his disdain for trying to grind on dragons. Their evasion can be through the roof and they can hit like trucks.
So because I do have warp, I do want to go ahead and go to Ordeals first, because I do want to show the warp trick in Ordeals as well. Ooh, here we go.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I might be hanging out here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So this is fine. This is completely acceptable. So if you want to start working on a grind, you can do this. Get everything off of everybody. I think I might go try to fight some Tyros here, because we know they crit pretty well. And we'll just see if they will kill my people. Of course, the first one didn't actually land a hit.
It's already over 500 HP right there on that fighter already. He's level 18. It's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what Greg's doing here is each enemy in the game gives you a set amount of EXP, but it gets distributed between your living party members. Mm-hmm. So by killing everybody by the black belt, you can get 4 times the experience on him. That just makes the grind go that much faster.
Mm-hmm. And that 1 to 2 sandwich or sandworms right there that are going to show up in that little pathway to Ordeals is going to be, 4,600 to 8,000-ish, depending on what your boosts are at right now. It's going to be a lot of XP.
The Tyro keeps back rowing my people. I'm not happy about it. Yeah, stunned allies are the best, for sure. There's another way I could be doing this too that'd be a little bit quicker, potentially. I'm still gonna rock with this, but you could potentially leave this area and go to Volcano and stand on some damage tiles But it looks like these Tyros are like actually starting to hit the people I wanted to hit. That's good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, usually it's the thief that's the challenge to get down, especially with the agility buff on.
That probably big old hit. And that still didn't take the Tyro down.
Yeah, this Tyro's got about 500 plus HP, give or take.
The other thing Greg's doing here, we mentioned earlier, weight is faster than attacking, but in this case, he's just showing his gear to the Tyro because he doesn't want his characters to kill it, but he doesn't want to waste time while punching them, so it's faster to just flash your gear.
Yeah, check out this nice snazzy shirt I got. Look at this chainmail, pretty cool.
And so what we're doing is we're basically saving the game, and then I'm doing a hard reset so that I always get the same encounter every time. If that wasn't clear.
Yeah, you'll hear some of us talk about hard reset versus soft reset. Hard resets are very important when it comes to taking an overworld grind like this. Your hard reset is going to be your first encounter every time you are starting the encounter table. So there's a lot smarter people that can explain it a little better than I can. But basically, it's the very first encounter you're going to take in the game when your encounter table is fresh and beginning. When you soft reset on your way through that 256 encounters, you're saving your position in that 256 encounters. So you'll see runners, if they kind of like air quote figure out the encounter table, start walking in front of a dungeon before they go inside, burning off encounters before they go in to kind of get into a more favorable location to be able to traverse the dungeon a little faster.
And so now we settle up and we get ready. I put Luffy, the thief, in the front row because I want the extra agility in case I don't want them ambushing me. I do. I think we all have Discord open.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing this. That's how we're streaming this whole thing. So yeah, there's two different ways you can go about this. Depending on how the encounter table works, you can either do what I'm doing here, where you have a bunch of save items, you hard reset, and you kind of do an overworld grind on something like sandwiches, which give pretty decent EXP. One is giving me 6,000 or nearly 7,000. Two would obviously give me close to 14,000. And or you could find a spike tile. This sandworm is better than I think most of the spike tiles outside of like maybe the eye. And at this point, we've checked a lot of spike tiles. I'm not interested in like hunting down more spike tiles. Yeah, granted, we could go through this whole situation and find eyes in the first spike tile in Volcano, and we could be like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. We never saw that. But I'm doing this now because as one of our admins, Burt Reynolds, would say, sometimes you go with the best grind you find at the time and not try to find something better.
Don't leave something that's working and try to find something that could work.
Yeah.
Because you may never find the eye. The eye may be in Topher, right?
Yeah, it very well could be. Yeah, and these are good levels, and my math was way off. I thought he'd get like 4 to 5,000. He's getting almost 7 per fight. This is going to be pretty fast. Question in chat from Mr. Vis, what's the black belt magical level? Saracen kind of answered that for you. It's level 32 for 8 hits and level 42 for 10 hits historically. With this added bonus though of plus 10 hit percent, you can see right there, he's got 7 hits already at level, what level are you, Greg? 29, 28?
Yeah, normally you would get 8 hits at 32, so I'm already there at, yeah, like what you said, I think I'm at 29. Let's see what this next level, yeah, at 28.
Yeah, so that means he'll get his 10th hit at 38, and he will get the mythical 12th hit if he decides to take it that far at right around level 50, which is just an obscene amount of damage.
Glossy Fern with the raid, 15 people showing up. Guys, this is our Duckling boot camp. We are playing Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, kind of showing everybody how to play the game. So if you're new, you've never seen the game before, this is not a race. This is just us kind of showing the ins and outs of how to play Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer. I'm Gregory Puff. I'm the guy running the game, and I'm here with Luffy and Budge Minot. Budge Minot, our Duckling Supreme of last Duckling Derby season thing, and Luffy one of our co-op champions hanging out, talking about the game, helping newer runners figure out the game.
Yes, Beach Dreaming. Very important to have a good array of camping gear here when going in to try to take an overworld grind. 40 to 50 tents is really a good number. Greg had about 40 or so when he started. He's down to 26 right now, and he's getting his levels pretty much. We're nearly. I mean, you're end game ready right now with these levels based on your scaling as it is. But I mean, we'll see where Greg decides to stop and just kind of keep going.
Yeah, we're just kind of having fun here. Because of the 12th hit that could potentially happen, depending on what my camping gear looks like, I may go up to 40 something or another. But if I do, yeah, exactly. Lex Luthor Vandross saying, if I do run out of food, I can just eat the tents. But if I do run out of the tents, then I'm going to have to obviously stop my grind earlier. But I do have like 30 camping gears, so we should be able to get into the 40s.
You're getting terrible luck here with only the single sandworm showing up pretty much this entire time as well.
Yeah, because I am like certain this is supposed to be 1 to 2 sandworms. I cannot believe I keep getting only one.
Pretty sure as well, unless there is a single sandworm encounter that I'm just not aware of.
Yeah, same. So yeah, not only do we have the black belt crit rate hat, or not. Oh, sorry, I accidentally got off the encounter zone that I was supposed to be in. Not only do we have the black belt vanilla crit rate turned on, so he's going to be hitting hard anyway, but we do have the extra 10% hit, which means we can get the mythical 12 hits somewhere in the high 40s, and this black belt's going to be doing redonk damage. It's not going to make sense.
Mm-hmm. So with the crit rate right there, basically every punch that he's throwing has a chance to crit, and just start doing the math here. When you're doing 8, 10, 12 hits and each one of them has a chance to crit, I mean, it's just the damage gets obscene really fast.
Yeah. we do have fast at level 6, so
Yeah, we can get some charges on it with that black mage, and 12 hits to 24. I mean, 24 hits, you're talking. If we get any tempers on there as well, I don't know. I've seen close to 5,000 damage with a single punch, which is pretty nuts.
I think the last boot camp during the black belt week or whatever, which obviously we're doing black belt week now because we can, but during black belt week when we were able to like stack like 10 tempers and a fast or whatever onto the black belt, and he punched chaos for like 5,500 damage or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, 8 hits, 1,300 damage already. That's crazy.
Yeah, so at this point, we're like kind of almost thinking to ourselves, we already have a ribbon. We picked up the tail, which we obviously don't need, but I will go on ahead and use it just so you can see, talking to Bahamut and getting the class change and what spells you can get, but it's not really necessary. And you actually, especially if you're trying to do a black belt lead, you don't want to do class change until you get levels on your black belt. Mm-hmm. But at this point, because we don't need the mass immune anymore, because we got a black belt doing ridiculous damage, and we already have a ribbon, we're kind of hoping we don't find those 2 key items. We're basically looking for the chime and the cube so we can finish the game.
Mm-hmm. Still need that Oxiel and the key as well, but hoping that this like Greg was saying, this would be what would be ideal right here is if this Ordeals is like your Oxiel, and then it takes you over to Onrak Continent, and your robot has your cube, and then in Sea Shrine it's your chime, like that. Now we're talking.
No, we do not need the key with Thief lockpicking. Normally you need the key in order to beat the game, but when the Thief is over level 15 and you have that turned on, you will not need it in order to finish the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yes, the key will logically still be out there because Thief lockpicking doesn't break logic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what I mean is that key won't be behind key locks because key lock picking is turned on. That makes
Correct.
sense.
Yeah. No, folks, we did not find the shop item yet. So shop item is either at the caravan or at on-rack, which is why in a perfect world for routing, this ordeals would have our Oxio.
Yeah, it's very nice of it to just give me one at a time.
Yeah. 1,700 damage already is.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
This hasn't even taken Greg very long. We've been here. I mean, I remember looking at the timer when he started taking it about 41 minutes. We're at 48, almost 49 minutes right now, and you've gone from mid 20s all the way into the mid 40s. This is pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're gonna just keep doing this. I'm hoping. I think it's level 47 that you get the 12th hit, but
Mm-hmm.
and like what you said, imagine if I got more than one worm. I guess there must be some sort of thing where this encounter zone only gives you one worm, because I've never seen this is wild.
Yeah, only on a spike tile where it's like B-side encounters have I seen that single worm show up when it's supposed to be two for multiple times, but never like this. This is crazy.
So we're almost out of tents. So we're probably just going to go until we run out of tents, I think is what I'm going to do. And hopefully that gets me to that mythical 12th hit. Otherwise, I'm sure I'll get it after killing some fiends.
Yeah, we still got some turn-ins to do. There's still, at least, even just looking at your key items, you need to finish 30% more XP coming your way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're level 47. We're almost maxed on levels here.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to touch real quick on what Greg was saying earlier about the promotion and the black belt. So black belt's slightly broken when it comes to its MDEF calculation versus the other classes. It's the only one that has a penalty once you promote, as opposed to when you keep it unpromoted. It gains 4 MDEF per level as a black belt, and only 1 single MDEF per level as a master, which is strange, but it's there. So typically when people take a black belt lead, they will not promote or not really look for the tail because they don't want to promote, they don't need it. So with this black belt, with Greg having it right here at level 49, these sandworms are slightly evasive, so we're not going to be able to tell if he has that 12th hit, even though we think he probably does by now at this point. So with the black belt at the levels it's at right now, its MDEF is pretty comparable to if it had a ribbon on itself, which is really pretty nice.
All right, so we got 49 black belts online, and now just gonna breeze through the rest of the game at this point.
Yep.
Nothing stopping him.
Nope, free game is free.
Yeah. There was something here. Not that it's necessary, but I did want to pick up Fade for my fighter just for lulz.
It looks like you already got 2 charges of it, right? Or that's level 5 actually. You'll get some charges of it as you go. It could be, you can run into an unrunnable pack of bad men or something in Temple of Fiends, and just any kind of AoE would be nice to get through that.
All right, here we go. So we're gonna go on ahead and put the boosters on. We'll go to ordeals after this, but I'm gonna go on ahead and start actually killing some fiends since.
At this point, Greg Blood doesn't need any more boxes, so he knows where all the incentives are. So we got probably single-digit boxes to open for the rest of the seed.
Mm-hmm. So Volcano right here, typically one of the fastest dungeons to do, especially when you're not checking boxes. All of these damage tiles that Greg's walking on, this is all free. There never is going to be an encounter on there, which is why you'll typically see people take routing specifically to walk on these damage tiles.
Oh no, I got ambushed. Whatever will I do?
Right there, making good use of that heal 3 to kind of save on healing items.
Well, this chest here in Videla, there is no real incentive in Volcano, but if you do have an incentive chest,
I'm
in
not sure why I'm
Volcano,
checking
in
here.
Randomizer, which
Yeah.
it's not here. But if it
Yeah, I don't
was,
know.
this is the chest.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I was checking that. I forgot that that's not turned on. Had a moment there.
I was about to point out how wonderful it was you were down here in a minute and you burned 30 seconds right there, Greg. How dare you?
Yeah. I just want to see Puff punch Kelly for like 1 billion damage with that fasted 20 hits for 20.
Splat.
Slight overkill there.
Oh, that was a punch.
All right, now we'll go to Ordeals for real.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to Ordeals without a warp caster because I did want to show off the warping.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm going to start kind of utilizing what I've learned from the encounter table and start like tenting around and then hit encounter. Well, I thought it was close to one. All right, one other thing I want to point out too is this little thing here. So if you go in and out of the river, again, doesn't move the encounter table along. So every time you go in and then step out, in, out, so forth and so on, will not move the encounter table along. Granted, I did just hit an enemy there, but that's because I accidentally did one extra step. But if I kept doing this forever, I would never hit an encounter. PM. All right. So if you have warp, you can just kind of warp around if you accidentally hit the wrong pillar. So, you know, that one was fine. North was fine. So usually when I go through here, I think I was talking to Gouda about this. You're always like, all right, top. What's that? Wait, did I already do that one? No.
Yeah.
One. Okay, so top. It's not 1, 2. Okay, I don't think I've seen that room.
Oh, that looks fresh.
Yeah. So I don't get to do the warp trick after all. All right, cool. Well, that was a pretty easy ordeals. Sometimes it can be way worse than that, and you got to warp around. Hey, metal slimes.
That's a nice little spike tile to see, but it is not black belt friendly when it comes to taking your levels. Okay. So that's a turn in for us right there. And right here, Greg showing you just the use of exit just to, jump out of the dungeon. There's one more spike tile right there in front of the chair that warps you back to the beginning of the dungeon. And we're just going to avoid that and just warp out because we don't need to take any more tiles. We don't need to take any more levels. We just need to go.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, I was
just say warp and exit is so useful. You don't necessarily think of it, just save a few seconds, but that adds up over the course of a seed and could be minutes. It's a good habit to get in mind. If you got it, use it.
I'm going to point out to you, Greg, I'm impressed at how you're remembering your way through the encounter table here with no music playing.
Yeah. I kind of feel it. I hardly ever listen to the game music anymore.
All right. I'm pretty sure this is going to lead to be either your crown or your Oxiel or your or chime, one or the other, and then your robot has your other one.
Oh, nope, this is the Massimian.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I didn't need that Massimian, so I just went on ahead and reset out. And at this point, I'm next to Earth Cave, so I'm going to go punch Lich to death.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have Waterfall, and we still have the vendor item that could potentially lead to the Oxiel and Chime and stuff like that.
Yep, that's right. There's me forgetting about the vendor item again.
Very easy to do. You gotta keep that one in mind.
So a question from Beat Streaming, how did you know it was Masa? And Astos right there will say what he has to give you. And Greg knows exactly where in the text box to look for what the item was. Once he saw Masa, he just reset.
One of those ones when you're running it, you see it. You never see it on stream though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry about that. I can go back in and fight him and show exactly where it says. It's easier with a key item because it's all bold. With Masa, it's it's standard, uppercase, first letter, and so forth and so on.
Right.
So yeah, and Saracen's pointed out too. I mean, we could find the vendor item could be the chime, waterfall can be the cube, and then the oxyel can be in sky, and then the key could be down in sea shrine.
It's so awful.
Yeah. So I mean, there are definitely things that could be happening here. How many incentives are left? 4, right? We've got.
The key opens no incentive items.
No, it opens Canaria locked.
Yeah.
Oh, Canary Lock, you're right.
Yeah,
See,
and so I can actually, technically, I can check that without the key because I have the thief in my party.
Oh, it's very true. It's been a while since I've played with all these incentive locations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been, most of you guys have been running spring tournament flags, and I've been, any races that I pick up, I've also been running spring tournament flags. So, all right, let's see speed bump.
10 hits, 2200 damage.
Without the fast, even.
Yeah.
That would have been, 20 hits for 4,000 damage. Poor Lich.
So, because even though I want to have the key before I check this, but I mean, it's kind of the fun of the game, right? You have a level 15 thief, you may as well check this. So we will go on ahead and hop in here, even though we don't have the key. Yeah, I don't know where our 12 hits are. I got to 49, so I guess 10% doesn't get you that. I guess you got to have 20% in order to.
It's fine. That's useful.
Yeah. I could put the ribbon on Luffy, keep my runner alive. But yeah, normally I would have, if I was doing a race, I would have reset out of that as well. So now at this point, we know it can't, yeah. We know the ribbon was there, and we've seen the Masamune, so basically all our incentive locations are required to get through the game. All right, so here we go. This is something you can do in the original game, is you can land your airship on the caravan. All right, so it's an on-rack.
Of course it is.
New catches Greg goes past. Oh, well, you don't have Northern Docks on. Never mind. Oh, we'll save that for another week then.
Yeah, if we had Northern Docks in, we would have been able to come here, I mean, technically earlier. Oh, well, that's convenient at least.
Yeah, so that was the Oxyel there and on rack, and I can go use the Oxyel now. So we will head down here and show you a couple tricks to clear this area here. First off, we don't have to take any battles because everything's runnable, which is nice. Makes me happy.
Starison calling out in chat that you carbonate bubbles as well.
Oh, for sure. So if you ever had to full clear this room, or down this way, like if you're doing spring tournament and you need to look for a loose item that's down here, it's quicker to go to this room first, check these 3 boxes, then wrap yourself around here to the incentive, which is what I'm going to check now. There's our chime.
Okay.
So that means the cube's got to be in the thing. Warp. Go back in. Then come back around. It's just a tiny bit quicker. Check that there. Check this box first. Then up here, you got to carbonate bubbles.
Yep.
Are we going to become bubbles? Yes, you are.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. Check this. Go around and check this. And then we got 3 ribbons. Woo!
Wow.
That is crazy. You've only opened like 40 boxes too.
What are the odds? And then check that box, and that is the quickest way to route that room, and then warp back, and then clear this floor. So you'll clear up this way all the way to up to that top box there, and then warp and exit around or whatever you want to do. So, just throwing that out there. Oh my God, more EXP! Holy moly! Do I need more? No. If we didn't have the key, or if we had no ability to open this, I know that ice armor +5 is pretty good.
Pretty really good for that night.
really good. Normally you wouldn't be able to open this door, but you need the key to open it. But obviously the thief lock picking, we can actually get in here.
And there is a flag to turn on for this dungeon where the incentive item has to be behind that door, which can be either really good or just truly infuriating.
Yeah. So anybody watching this, that is the quick. Oh my God!
Oh my God! Wow. You want to talk about free?
All right, and that is the quickest way to route your way into the mermaids. Check the chest as quickly as possible, and then route your way back through that other floor. I hate looking for loose on that floor before mermaids. Like, it's got what, 5 chests, and they're literally 300 steps apart from one another.
Yeah, they're spread out all over the place. That power that Greg just picked up right there, for anybody that doesn't know, that's what we call the power bonk or the power gauntlet. That will give us unlimited casts of Saber. Saber will add a temper charge and a half or so to your character, give or take.
Yeah.
It's going to make this black belt do even more obscene damage.
All right, so we're not going to clear this floor because obviously there's no reason to. I was just kind of showing that one thing with mermaids. And then we're going to kind of we've already kind of put on the boosters. We've already, killed 2 fiends. We just need to go into Waterfall and get the cube, which is this game even randomized.
Yeah, right.
And then we can go into Sky. I'll show you where the key is located, even though we don't need the key.
Yeah, Mischievous is just going to be punch, sucker punch, punch all the way through Temple of Fiends. Just enough fast cast to get you through at the end, and we really don't even need it. You can solo this with the black belt most likely the rest of the way if you really, really wanted to, just based off of the scaling.
Put no white mage so Kraken won't know who to hit. Oh my God, I accidentally fasted the wrong person. It doesn't matter. Wow, that did surprisingly little damage.
That was a bit of a absorbent Kraken right there. Or there was just really randomly 7 hits that none of them crit. Greg?
Where are we going?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta go to Waterfall. I'm special. Thanks for reminding me.
We got your back, buddy.
Thanks.
So in the vanilla game here, this location is the waterfall. It's still the waterfall here, but this was where the robot in the vanilla game would give you the cube to be able to work your way and traverse through the Sky Palace to go to Tiamat and finish the game. By sheer happenstance, though, this robot will also give us the cube.
Yeah. And there are flags where Waterfall, it's the only flag where you can pre-generate a dungeon as opposed, there are other pre-generated dungeon flags, but they don't work very well. Waterfall is the best one. And then, of course, we do have Overworld Prog Jam as well. Kind of a little, what is it, Dragon Warrior kind of doodad or whatever. Was Cuban Mermaids? I could have sworn I picked up the chime there.
I thought it was the chime. Yeah, it's chime.
Slab was like really early.
Oh, I was thinking that was the vanilla question.
It was the slab is in mermaids and vanilla.
Why did
But
I
here's what I was asking.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, there we go.
There we go.
There it is.
So at the 107:45-ish second mark right here, Greg is in what we call go mode. He's been in no mode for about, 2-3 minutes there. No mode is where you know what you have to do to finish the game. Really good time here. obviously Greg's taking quite a bit of time to kind of show some things off and discuss things and talk. So you're seeing him put up a time that's exceedingly fast and also educational at the same time.
Okay, so we're gonna do just the last dungeon here. We're not opening any boxes except for the incentive, just so people will know where that incentive is if they don't already know.
Greg already took the black belt to the moon, so he's going to be running from everything in here. But if you do not take a black belt, Sky is a great place. If you have the spells, to do what we call a walking grind and just take these fights as you go. A ton of fights, a really good experience. Not too bad. It's a great way to get that fighter buffed up.
Yeah, I think next week we'll obviously talk about more nuanced, strategies. This was just more like a kind of overview of the game and the randomizer and the site itself, and then just a couple of things you can learn. And of course, the eye is here. So this was kind of one of those situations that Budgmano mentioned a while ago. Yeah, we could have hunted down the eye, but we would have never found the eye until now, because this is like one of the last places we could have gotten into.
That's too funny. I see that there so many times now. I don't know what it is. It loves popping up on that tile.
So that's one of the best solo grinds, static grinds in the game, because you can, stop, hop off and on to it. Eyes are way less scary in the randomizer than they were in the vanilla game, and they give like redonkulous experience. Yeah, Blue D would normally be there, but the Blue D happened to show up in Waterfall of all places, instead of the Mummy Bird Pack.
I think even with like not a whole lot of bonuses, like even if you were at like 5% scaling, you would be getting 4,000 to 4,200 XP with barely any items from the eye. They're just worth a whole lot of XP.
Yeah, and I mean with the flags that we had on, I didn't even need to grind the black belt. I bet I could have taken battles along the way, and even level 27, I think is when I got my 8th hit. I could have probably made a run at Topher with the scaling. Hey, it's Warmech.
Oh,
so
hey.
We're just gonna fight Warmech for the heck of it. I want to dismantle this big.
That's cute.
Yeah.
18 hits, 2,500 damage, 24,000 XP spread across the party. That's really pretty good.
Yeah, that's a tin can. No longer with us here.
Oh my God, Saracen! I've never heard that before, and I feel like an idiot. I love it. McDonald's. That's so great.
Oh man,
that is so great. I've never heard that.
Alright, so that's pretty quick.
Alright, so 1 hour, 11 minutes in, Greg has all his orbs lit, he has everything to finish the game, he has his levels. Were you going to show off Bahamut real quick, or are you just going to go and do the thing?
That's probably a good idea. I did mention I was going to do that. So yeah, we can do class change, and we can just kind of, So Bahamut's here.
You can give that ninja that paper katana you picked up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm leveling it. I'm leveling it. Alright, so yeah. And we're level 50, so I don't think we need to worry about the MDef situation with the black belt.
Yeah, I think you're good.
I think we're fine. So first off, we can put this black shirt on our black mage. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, we don't really have anything. I mean,
you could throw the iron armor on the ninja if you really
want. On the ninja, if I really wanted to, but I think I'd rather him just keep the one ribbon and keep his evasion up.
Yep.
And then I'll keep the power bonk on Puff because whatever. Yeah. And then as far as weapons are concerned, yeah, that trashy katana I can put on him. And then between the light axe +5 and the ice sword +4, let's see which one's better. So we got 38, 30, and 21. And 37, 37, 22. So
very close, actually.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah. I would think the ice sword would have a little more crit, but I mean that's pretty close.
Yeah. And then if I wanted to, obviously my the worst part is Blitzball. I could go and get white magic spells for my ninja or my knight, but my knight already has, white magic spells as like a blessing, so there's no real reason to do that. And there wasn't any great magic in level 1 through 4, so I'm not gonna bother getting ninja spells for my ninja. So just go ahead and go into Topher.
We saw no temper in the first 4 levels, which is a pretty key black magic spell you'd be looking for early on. Life 2 is already on the character that needs it, so I mean, this is fine.
Yeah. So we just kind of did that for the formality of it. Normally, if I was running Black Belt, I would not be doing class change. Like tail is dud. Tail is dud, like Masa, like Ribbon, like yeah. So
like Key, even with taking the field.
Yeah. And this is our last spike tail. This is the spike tail we thought the eye would land on, because why not?
I was thinking that would be the Agama right there, since you already found the eye.
And then, yeah, this will tell you here, this door is locked by the Mystic Key. So yes, normally you would need the key to go through here, but with the lock picking, it's like, what? But yeah, so tomorrow, somebody that is a duck boss of some kind, whether it be me or Luffy or Budgemano, one of us will actually post our first Duckling seed in quite a long time. And it will be these flags. And yeah, you just go out there, run them, and have fun. Post your times. Talk about the race. Pick each other's brains or whatever. That should be posted at some point in time tomorrow. Whoever gets to it just will do it.
I'll run a seed or 2 later on tonight. I'm actually off of work the next couple days and I have some time, so I'll run a couple and I'll vet something and put some out tomorrow.
Okay, I'll have to give you the duck, the whatever it's called, the duck derby, the duckling don power.
The power. Speaking of power, we're about to see some power right here.
Yeah. Not tonight, but probably. I can post them in the thing tonight, but tomorrow we'll definitely have the duckling seed released tomorrow at some point. So we're gonna wait. And we are going too fast because we have... No, we're not going to fast because we only have 4 fast. We can't get out of control, people.
Yeah, we got to save those for when we actually need it.
Yeah. So 12 hits, 2,400 damage. So you did have to go to 50 to get the 12 hits.
Yep, there it was.
And Windfox, to your question, if you wanted to practice and not actually run the Duckling seed, I don't know if you were at the beginning, but if you go to the main site for FFR, hit the presets, and go to the beginner preset, that is what Greg is running tonight. So you can just run those, any seed you want.
Yep, so they are already there. The actual seed that you guys will run and, post your times for, I'll bet you guys something later on tonight and take care of it. 4,200 damage on that punch. My God.
Yes, we will be doing some sort of Duckling review. Basically, anybody that wants a VOD review of any kind, just ask us. We'll open up a room, and somebody will get to it. One of the 3 of us, or Dead Pulse, or some of us will get to it, and we'll do a VOD review and go over everything. So we'd like to definitely do that for newer runners, specifically Ducklings. Yeah. So
this is the power of the black belt here. There's certain time frames that you look for when kind of going through Temple of Fiends. Typically a fighter comp for melee can be about, what do you think, Greg? Like 9 to 11 minutes is a pretty decent time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
I would say that's a good time. With the black belt here, 6 minutes to 7 minutes is what you're looking for, especially with the damage they do with each punch. Greg was in the desert at 111. We're just about to crest the 116 to 117 mark, and we went to go to Bahamut. So there's speed.
This is blazing fast.
Yeah.
Question is, how high are we going to get this chaos?
How many bonks are you going to do for the lulls?
I wish I had temper.
Oh.
Temper must have been like an on-rack or something.
Yeah, it had to be. Maybe even Lefane level 8, but I don't even have to check that one.
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's not game audio. We'll probably just mute whatever you're doing because we're going to talk over it. How many power walks are we going to do? Oh, here comes that nuke that we were told about. Maybe I should stop joke.
Yeah, maybe swing.
Yeah, joking around and see what happens.
Oh, wait. Show off the life in battle.
Oh, yeah, I could do life in battle. That's right. So if I do want to bring somebody back to life, I could be like live 2 right here. There you go.
Hey.
Hey, 20 hits, 4,900 damage.
GG's. There you go. 118. We'll call it like 117.58. I was a couple seconds short on hitting that timer there, and that's what taking a lot of time to kind of show things off. So Greg is what we call a professional runner. So you ducks out there. I mean, spring tournament champion of the past year, Duckling Supreme. Greg's overall just a really good guy. But 118, really good time right there. So when you guys go out there and you run the seed, like I said, I'll vet something for you guys in a little while, and we'll throw it in the Duck channel for Duckling Weeklies tomorrow. Just kind of really just work on your routing, work on kind of your pathings here, walking in front of doors, walking in and out of the river systems. Just get your basics down. Don't worry about your times here. You don't compare yourselves to Greg just yet. Get a couple seeds under your belt first.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, we don't really have anything else going on to really talk about. We've been on RPG Limit Break's channel for a couple hours now, so we should probably get back to them. I don't know what the hell going on, but we've been here for quite a bit. But yeah, if you guys have anything else, I could get us out of here.
I mean, I can take us out if you want whenever you guys are done.
Real quick question for me from Miss Tribus, Greg. What do you use a controller? Or is it the resets bound to it? If so,
for me personally, and there is no rule against it, and FFR, speed running or any of our tournaments or anything. But yes, I do use a Super Nintendo controller, a original controller that has a USB adapter. And I do bind my resets to the controller.
Mm-hmm. As do I. I have an Xbox controller that I bind my resets to my analog clicks.
Yeah, so, and then you can use keyboard as well. Some of the best runners in the entire community use keyboard, and Crab Cakes and, Crab Cakes and Spells App and Zenobian are really, really phenomenal runners, and they use keyboard. And I leisurely, when I'm at work and work's boring, I'll roll a seed and play on a keyboard. And there are definitely some major pros to it, doing it that way. I'm just not game ready for it, if that makes any sense. So, I couldn't race using a keyboard.
But yeah, Budge, whenever you're ready, man, why don't you go ahead and take us out. Thank you to Dark Moon for the restream. Thank you to Budge Minot for joining me tonight. Thank you to Greg for running, and that was fun.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Greg, for running for us, putting on a great show. If you liked what you saw, join us on the Discord. Go to the New Player Duck Pond. Ask any questions you have there. Will be people just busting down doors to answer questions for you. Run the Duckling Weekly Seed, and then join us later this week for Luffy will be running some extra credits for us, and then we'll be doing this every Sunday night for the next 5 weeks. So it'll be great. Thanks to RPG Limit Break for hosting us. Thanks to Dark Moon for doing the stuff behind the scenes. With that, good night, everyone.
Well, with that, I'm going to just remind everyone that if you want to see if you like what you saw here, you want to play more, you want to see what this is all about, you can go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. We've got links from the Discord and the development Discord right there. You can go hit the wiki.FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, and go check out all the resources and everything else we have there. Luffy, your extra credits are going to be at Wednesdays at 9?
Wednesday nights, 9 p.m., yes.
That'll be on
our channel, Final Fantasy Randomizer, Twitch. I'll have myself and another runner joining me to do some fun nons.
Yeah, you've got your own fun flags that you're doing that help to expand the base knowledge of what we do here in these boot camps and train all kinds of interesting things you might not see otherwise, but we'll definitely see when you start playing this with other people.
Yeah, we won't get too crazy early on because we're still teaching you how to play, but there's going to be some fun stuff in there. That's why it's extra credit.
Heck yeah. And then I know at some point we'll be doing VOD reviews as well that you can submit, although I don't think we have anything planned right now. But, if you're looking for some help, just come to the Discord and ask around, and we're a good bunch of people. So, yeah, Sundays and Wednesdays, all the Duck boot camp stuff leading up to the Duck Derby, and then Duck Derby in 6 weeks. So get yourself signed up. And with that, thank you to everyone. We hope to see you on our Final Fantasy Randomizer channel on Wednesdays. I almost said Fridays. I don't know. It's because it's Final Fantasy, too many Fs. And with that, thank you and good night.